Yeah. So today we're gonna discuss about few of the pending items in performance tuning, like how we can extract the data from a table into an external files or external file with different formats like delimiter format or CSV format. Actually, we used to get some requirements from development team, and they will be giving us the CSV format or any text format. They will ask us to import into the database tables. Or few times they will give some set of queries, some select statements to pull the data report into a separate CSV format or something. So in this case, basically, we can use the EXPDP as well, but and we can also use PG admin tool as well for building the reports. But it's something like complex operation. But we have a command called copy. With the help of copy utility, we can able to fetch and export the data very simple. So we can see some scenarios in this copy command. And we'll also see something called PG profile, similarly like AWR report, how we can generate. Okay, so this we'll see. And we'll see what is the extensions and what are the main popular extensions, and so how we can write our own extensions, something like this we'll discuss. Okay, so first of all, let me connect to databases and see what are the databases I have. So this is the table which is having this many records. Okay. So for example, if I want to copy this all data of this table into a separate text file, for example, okay, it's very simple. You can just use copy command, copy and table name to, for example, /temp/emp.txt. Okay. So this is very fast. Even in version 16, they have so many features. I mean, in terms of copy command, it will be very fast than the lower versions. From 16, it is still fast, the copy command. Okay. So if you remember, even when we do the PG admin, sorry, not PG, PG dump backups, EXPDB backup. So EXPDB backup also will does the copy command only to export the data, which is very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just copying this file. This file having this many records, it will be very fast. See, this much data it has copied very quickly. Okay, you can see with the cat command or with the VA editor. Okay, so the data will be something like this. Okay, all the table data will be pulled. And now we'll see how we can import the data. For example, the same data I want to import to some other table, the whatever that I have exported. Okay, so let me create the similar kind of structure of table. Create table emp underscore bkp as select start from. I cannot truncate this table again, and I will import this data, whatever the data which we have exported. So this data we can import into this table. So we'll see. For now, I'm just trying to truncate because I want to import from the external file which we took the backup. Okay, so for now, I have the same structure of this table, same like employee. Okay, so since I have taken the backup from this table, I'm gonna import into this table with a copy command. How we can do copy from, that's it. Instead of to, we can use from. Okay, first we need to mention the table name from our file name. So our file name is something like this. So it will import all the data into this table. Okay, so this many records, it has imported very fast, right? So that is the reason like copy command is always, like 100 times faster than insert statement. So even we can take the export backup of EXPDP with the insert statements. So, but this copy command is like 1,000 times faster than, not 1,000, 100 times faster than the regular insert statement. So that is the reason like this copy command is very useful in real time. Not only for taking the export into external file and importing from external file to here, but also it is useful for migrating the data from different databases. For example, from Oracle to Postgres, if you want to import. So in Oracle side, you can just pull the data into some external files. Okay, so you can export the data in Oracle side, and the data you can directly import here. Okay, so from the source you can take the raw data, and you can import here as well. So it's very useful in terms of when you are trying to do migration as well. Now, for example, if I want to export my table into some delimiter format, okay, maybe I have a requirement that from the application team that they want to export this from as a delimiter format. For this, what I can do, copy, for example, this table only, employees to, for example, I will make it something like this, emp delimiter something, any file, okay, .txt with delimiter. Okay, so what delimiter you have to use? For example, I want pipe symbol to be used. Okay, so this is the command which I can use. So with the option, we have different delimiter. We can export with the delimiter, or we can also export with CSV. If you basically, when you do this, by default it won't get any header like column names in this file. If you also want the column names, then even we can fetch that. So first, let's do with the delimiter command. So we'll see how the export looks like with the delimiter. So few times application team will ask to export in the delimiter format. So we can just open this file. So if you see, it is exported with the delimiter for each particular row or maybe column separated with the delimiter. So this is easy for us. They can also import from their side easily with if we give with the delimiter kind of format. So this is one way of exporting, and we will also see. For example, by default, actually we are not getting any header into this export file. If we want to allocate the header, we can also take similar command, something like this, with header. Okay, it will also export with the header. Now, you see, in the first line, we could able to see the header, something like this. This is the column names as a header. Okay, we have to use with header option. Then only, so it gonna copy as a header. Otherwise, by default, your header file will be not appended to this text file, basically. Now, we can also see how we can do with the CSV format. For example, I want to copy with the CSV format, copy emp 2/temp emp underscore cs.txt with, I also want to include header as well. So header, and I want in the CSV format. Okay, so then I can mention CSV. Okay, so looks like I have took the EMP table. So EMP table having only 5 records, so it will be like something like this. On this. Okay, so this is the CSV format. It took, okay, separated by comma. So even you can pull directly this report to the so you can directly append this data into some Excel sheet and something you can send to the application team. Or if application team gives us the Excel sheet, something like this, we can also import similarly. Okay, how we did the import. So with different options we can do with the CSV format. Okay, so now for example, uh, the only requirement while you import this kind of external file data into tables, you have to consider two things. The import, the table, whatever you are trying to import, it should have the same column names and same data types. Okay, but table name can be different than the source. So in our case, we have taken export from employees table, and emp underscore backup we have imported. So it should have the same column names and same structure. Otherwise, it will throw an error. So this is for something that we need to consider. And now we not only for all the data of the table, we can take the export. We can also take a specific statement. For example, so this is my employee table. Okay. So I want to fetch only specific SQL query output into my copy command. So for example, copy application team has given something query or query something looks like something like this. Okay. I want ID, email ID, mobile number, date of birth. Okay. From employees where ID greater than maybe some number. Okay. So this is my condition. They have given the select statement. You can append your statement to this copy command, and you, as usual, you can use the to command and whatever the data you want. Okay, e dot text. If you want in the CSV format, you can add. If you want header, you can use with header CSV or something. Okay. So even the specific query also you can able to export something like this. Okay, with the copy command. Okay, so this is how you can use. This is very useful in real time. Okay, for loading, for exporting and importing the data from flat files to tables and from tables to flat files. Okay, with the conditions as well or with the statements as well. Okay, this is about the copy command. Now we'll see about the PG underscore profile, extension. Or we can see how we can generate AWR kind of report in Postgres. Okay. So actually we have a, Git PG underscore profile is an external, actually for generating the AWR kind of report. So we need a tool called PG underscore profile. Okay, so PG underscore profile is not a part of your contrib modules. So we have to externally download that package, okay, or or extension from the external sources, especially the Git repository. So we have a Git repo where we can able to download that PG underscore profile. Okay, so I will provide that link in the lab manual. You can go through it. Okay, they have instructions like how we can configure the PG underscore profile extension, and it has some dependence extensions as well. So we also need to create the main important is PG stat statement extension as well. Okay, that also we'll see. Okay, let me first try to download that profile. Okay, so I have a link something like this. So let's go to root user. I can just download that package by using wget. Okay, so we'll see. Yeah, so I have downloaded the PG profile extension. So let me do gunzip. And let me unzip -xpm PG underscore profile. Okay, so when you unzip, basically you will get what it's telling is timestamp is feature. Okay, never mind. Okay, so basically if you unzip, you have something files or something files similar looks like something like this. Okay, you have some SQL files and you have control file. So basically extension have something called control file, and it also have some SQL file. So extension is something that it will be in the C program format or SQL format. Anything really works. Okay. So basically in our case, it is like this extension is something called SQL file. So if you open the SQL file, you have some set of tables created, okay, and some set of indexes, some set of functions. Everything will be as a part of the SQLs. Okay, this is created by this pack. This extensions. Okay, or this we have to copy these files to our extension location, otherwise we cannot. Okay, so first let's go to Postgres, and for example I want to create my extension here. Create extension pg underscore profile. Okay, so it will throw an error like it is looking for this control file, right? So this is my extension location. In this extension location I don't have any uh, the extension files available in this location, right? So we have to copy these files to our extension location. So all the extensions by default locations, this is something looks like this. T2 ls minus ltr, we have pg partman. Yesterday we have installed, right? This is the extension of the pg partman. Along with the pg partman, we also have pg edit to file, and we have page inspect. This all are the extensions which we have configured. Okay, as a part of your contrib modules, you will get some kind of extensions by default. Okay, the pg edit to file, and pg underscore partman, these all extensions which we have configured. Okay, so these files, whatever we have unzipped right from the these files. Okay, this we need to copy to that location, the shared location, whatever we have, right? So I'm going to copy pg underscore profile. Star. Okay. So to which location we need to copy? This is my location. Okay, this package you can also install with M installation as well. Okay, you don't need to directly download this package and you have to copy these files and all, right? So you can directly check with M installation regarding this pg underscore profile package, and your version 15 you can directly configure it as well. So currently I have downloaded the source code of this pg profile extension, and when you unzip this source code, you will get some files, control, sequels and all. So this you have to copy to extension location to support your extensions, right? So I'm just copying this all files to the extension folder. Now when you go and connect to pSQL, and you can just try to create the extension. Okay, now it is trying to look for the extension, but only thing why it is getting error, it has some dependency extensions. Before you install this pg profile, you also need to install the db-link profile. Okay? db-link extensions. Okay, so if you want to see what are the extensions available in your cluster, you can use pg available extensions. So these extensions will come as a part of your contrib module. So when you install your contrib module, you will get some extensions. Okay, this all page inspect, pg crypto, okay, foreign data wrappers, and you have pg stat statements. So these all extensions will come as a part of your contrib module, but we have installed few extensions externally. We have installed this from externally, right? pg edit for pg edit to file, pg part 1, pg profile. This all extensions is not part of your contrib module. We have configured it to use the rich functionalities in Postgres, right? So now what I will do, so before I create these extensions, so let me go and add few of the parameters. Okay, we have to add few parameters for configuring this pg profile. Okay, we'll see what are the parameters that we need to configure. So first let's go to pg data and let's open the postgresql.conf file. So as usual, we have to use shared underscore preload libraries, right? So for this, we have to allocate pg stat statement, because your pg profile will use internally your pg stat statements. So you have to use pg stat statements. Okay, so as a part of your pg profile, this will use this pg stat statement. That is the reason I have exported, I have allocated this pgstat statement to this shared preload libraries. Okay, to load all your library files of the pgstat statement extension. Still, we haven't installed this extension. We are going to do now. Okay, before that, I'm going to add some parameters. Okay, now we also have some parameters called track underscore activities. Okay, some, yeah, this one. So we need to make track underscore activities on. Why we need to make this on? So what is the use of this parameter? Actually, this will monitor your active connections and SQL statements that are executed in your cluster. Okay, that is the reason we have to make it on. And we also have track underscore count. Okay, so even this parameter we have to make it on. So why this parameter? If you enable this parameter, it will track of all the database activity statistics. Okay, and we also have track IO time. Even we need to enable this. This parameter will capture all the timing information of your database and IO operations of your database. Okay, this we need to make it on. And we have track underscore functions. Okay, track underscore functions, we have to make it all instead of none. So here you have see none, PL and all, right? So I have to capture all the calling functions. Okay, I'm just going to enable these parameters. And along with the pgstat statements, okay, I also wants to configure few of the pgstat statement related parameters. Okay, for this, what I will do, I will actually go to shared preload libraries. Okay, here I will add a few parameters, something like this. So let me check what are the exact parameters. Okay, these are the three parameters that we need as a part of our pgstat statements. So what is these three parameters? So basically we are capturing all the historical query information into the PG profile using pgstat statements, right? Okay. For this purpose, actually, we need these three parameters to be added. So what is this parameter? pgstat statement dot max equal to 1000. So actually, this is an integer value which we can allocate. So this parameter will set the maximum number of statements that it has to track. So maximum it can track 1000 SQL queries. If you want more queries to be tracked, you can add this. Okay, for normal workloads, this is more than enough. 1000 queries it will capture. Okay, and it also track the top. This determines like how the level of the detailed capture, like what are the top sequels we have to capture. So those things it will capture. And this is whenever you make it off, okay. So these statics are not saved basically when the server is restarted. So basically we can make it on to, or you can make it off if you don't want to, after you restart your cluster, if you don't want to capture the stats. And that stats needs to be saved in the report. Okay. So you can make it on or off. It depends on your requirement. So these are the main parameters that we need to enable as a part of your PG profile and PG stat statements. So far we have copied or installed the PG profile extension. Still we haven't still we not had created that extensions. We have just installed and we are going to create that extension now. Before I create that extensions, I have added the necessary parameters like track related parameters, like what are the SQL statement that I need to track. And related to PG stat statements also, how many maximum queries I have to capture and what are I have to capture the top statements. So those things I have added in the parameter file. Okay.
So, Suresh, sorry to interrupt. I have a question. So how do we know what parameters we need to enable for each extension? See, we have so many extensions and you have enabled some parameters, right? So how do we know what parameters needs to be enabled for with each extension?
Yeah, actually, each extension will have a Git documentation. Okay, in the
Okay.
documentation, they will clearly mention what are the parameters that we need to enable for that extension to support that extension. We require, especially the shared preload library is one of the main important parameters that we need to add all the extension related library files we need to load. So that parameter
Okay.
is the mandatory. So
Oh,
if you see the PG Patman, PG added to file, we have only added these parameters
yeah.
shared
Right.
below like this. But for this PG underscore profile, we need few more
Oh,
parameters to
okay.
capture all the SQL statements and all the tracking information, IO information. For this purpose only, we have added this.
Okay. Okay. So it's so every extension will have a README file or something like that.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. Every extension will have a README file, Git repo. We can go through that and we can enable it.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, in the lab manual, actually, I will also give you the link of the PG underscore profile extension, so that it will be easy for you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, okay, before I restart, okay, let me restart my cluster. PG data, because I have added all the necessary parameters. So now I will go and create my extensions. So to create PG profile extension, the dependence extension is dblink. Okay. So I'm going to create the extension dbilling. So why is this dbilling extension needed? Usually, what happens is, so if you want to capture this AWS kind of report from the remote mission or remote client mission, you can do with the dbilling. So that is the reason we have to install this extension dbilling. And now we can able to create extension PG underscore stat underscore statements. Okay. Now we are going to Okay, so instead of directly creating the extension in public schema, I'm going to create a schema called profile. Okay, in this profile schema, I'm going to create my PG profile extension. For example, create extension PG underscore profile. Schema is profile. Okay, it's better to have a separate, schema, because when you install this extension, you will get some set of uh, objects, right? Functions, something like this. So functions, tables, so it has so many tables and functions and views. Okay. So internally we can make this use of this, functions and tables. Okay. And we can capture, for example, if you want to capture the snapshot report. So similarly, like you have AWS report, right? You will capture the report based on the uh, time, right? I mean, snapshot. For example, you want to capture from snapshot 10 to snapshot 15 or snapshot 10 to 11. Every 1 hour it will generate, right? So if you want to capture, we have something called show samples. Okay, we can use that function and we can capture the uh, snapshot reports. Okay, so we'll see that. Okay, now I have this many extensions created like dbilling, PG stat statements, and PG profile, because this PG profile internally uses this PG stat statements to track all your execution plans. See, um, track planning and execution statics of all SQL statements that are executed in the cluster. And this PG profile is to load your all the queries and whatever you have in the repository or in a separate tables, okay, that we can generate in the form of reports, maybe something called HTML report. Okay, so that we'll see. Now, next what I can do, probably I can also create a separate user, okay, for connecting and capturing all the details in the database. Okay, so the user or role, whatever you think. Okay, I'm trying to create a user. Maybe I can give profile underscore monitor. Okay, with password monitor. Okay, so I've created this database. Sorry, I created this user. Okay, you can just use /tu to check this user. So I can make the use of this user and I can pull the reports. Okay, maybe this user needs some set of grants, or you need some set of privileges to this database. Whatever in this database you want to create this stats pack this AWR kind of report, you have to, even give some set of privileges to that user. Okay, especially on functions and on that schema, and it at least need a read-only privilege. Okay, so that we'll see. So for now, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to grant connect to database. Currently, my database is source DB, right? So for this database, I'm giving the grant permissions, okay, to this user, profile underscore monitor. Grant connect on database on, not to. Okay. Now, we know that we have a predefined role, right? PG read all stats. Okay, we can give that directly instead of giving the select statements. So we can use that role. For example, PG read all all stats. Okay, if you grant this particular role, you have all read only permission to this user. Okay. Now I will also grant usage permission on schema. Public, because I need to access few of the public public objects as well, okay, to capture this report. So I'm going to grant these permissions. Now it also need execute permission, because when you create this extension, so execute permission on functions. So when you create this extension, we have some set of functions. So you have to call that functions, right, to capture the reports. So for this purpose, I'm going to give execute permissions on the functions. Especially I need this functions, okay? Statements reset to profile underscore monitor. So this permissions is more than enough for capturing my AWR report. Okay, I need read-only permission, and especially on this function, I need the execute permission. Okay. Now, let's capture the AWR kind of report. So basically, before we capture, we have to create a server basically. So server means it will have all the details. For example, if you want to capture from any remote missions, in that case, you need the server to be captured. Okay, for example, if you want to see what are the servers that I have in this mission. Okay, for example, so let's start from profile dot show underscore servers. Okay, so by default, the local server is registered. Okay, if you want to register your server, for example, you have some separate centralized client. Okay? From that client, you want to pull all the AWR report from all the databases. Okay, so in that case, like you can create a separate servers for each databases. Okay, for example, I have a client. Assume that I have a client, and I have to register my database into this client and in this profile server, in these functions. Okay, whatever we call. So in this case, what I can do, I can just try to create profile dot create server. This is the inbuilt function which will comes as a part of your PG profile, right? Here I'm going to give PG underscore server, and what is the host details? For example, this host is dbserver01.com. This is my host name, or IP address, whatever you want. DB name, which database you want to connect, source DB. Okay, and port and username and password. So like this, you can add the servers. Okay, so for example, if I see select start from, so basically this servers is not needed if you are capturing in the local server itself. So for example, I'm capturing my AWR report in the local server. In that case, I don't need to use this server name, because since it is a local, I can directly use this local and I can capture, right? So if you are trying to pull the AWR kind of report from any remote client, you have to register the server details into that client so that you can able to connect to this database server, to this database from this user. Okay, user is not profile. Our username is profile underscore monitor, right? Something like this. Okay. Okay. Anyhow, we are not using this server to pull the report. We may use the local server details. Okay. No problem in that. Okay. So now this is done. Now I can capture my AWR report. How I can capture? So let's start from profile dot. There is a function called um, take underscore sample. So we'll see. I don't know why this is taking this much time. So usually it will be very quick. We'll see what happened. Okay. So let me cancel this. Source TB and so let's start from profile dot show servers. Okay. So maybe I will disable this profile. Okay. For now, I don't need this profile dot disable server. So I'm disabling this because I don't want this because I'm capturing in the local machine itself. I'm not, probably it is not able to connect to this. It is trying something internally. We'll see. This is to delete the server from this table, and with the help of this function, initially we have added, right, with the help of uh, create server function. So we have added that. We'll see. This much. much time it is taking. Okay, probably what I can do. So we'll try to, capture in this database. Okay, so for example, create extension. So extensions are specific to database, right? It's not specific to cluster. So if you want to capture reports from this database, you have to create extension in this database. Okay, so I'm going to create the DB link. And pgstat statements. Now I'm going to create, before I create, I'm going to create split schema, every same schema, and pg underscore profile. Schema is this, right? So I have already user, because user is specific to cluster level. So I can use the same user, and it has pg read all statements permission, already the permissions. Only thing is I have to give the permissions to this database, DVD rental. Okay. So for this purpose, I'm going to grant connect on database DVD rental. So to this user, right? So, and I'm only give usage permission on schema public to this user. And anyhow, this should already have the execute permission, but we can also try that. Grant execute on function stat statements is set to this user. Okay. Now, so we, as discussed, we don't need for now to add this server. We can just check profile dot show servers. Okay, so now let's try to capture the report. Okay, so now it has captured the report. So if you want to see whatever the reports which you have captured, so we can just use show samples, show underscore sample, samples, I guess. Yeah. So currently I have only one snapshot. Okay. Similarly, you can capture, maybe you can just perform something, some operations, so that at least that queries will be captured as a part of your report. Otherwise, it will be simple normal report. Okay. So I'm just doing something, order by ID, some queries. Okay. And we have product table. You can just some set of queries to capture in the report. That's it. Okay, now let's take one more snapshot. Same command, take snap. So basically, this take snapshot we have to manually take, right? Every 1 hour, if you think about AWR report, by default, every 1 hour, your background process will take care of capturing AWR report. But here we have to take the manually this report, or we have to schedule a cron job to capture every 1 hour or 30 minutes you want, whatever the snapshot. So something like this you can capture, and you can see the same command, show servers, show samples. Okay. So currently we have two snapshots. Now I want to generate the report between these two snapshots. Okay. How I can generate in maybe let me take one more. How we can generate in HTML report. So we have something called profile.get report. So we have the inbuilt function in the as a part of your extension PG profile. So we can make use of that get report, and we can capture in it we can capture in HTML report. So we have to mention the snapshots, begin snapshot and end snapshot, and we can capture. Okay, for example, what I'm trying to do, for which database I have to capture, for DVD rental. And you see this is the format if you want in the HTML report. Okay, so select profile dot get report. So this is the function which is very important if you want to pull in the HTML report. Okay, here we have to mention the server name. Since we are capturing in the local, I'm just mentioning local. What is the snapshot, begin snapshot and end snapshot? I'm capturing from 1 to 3. Okay, this is the function which we need to call, and I'm going to allocate this as a any name. For example, snapshot underscore report dot html. Okay, you see ls minus ltr. This is my snapshot report. Let me copy this using WinSCP to my local, and so that we'll see. Let me take the IP of this 19. Let me connect to my WinSCP to copy this report into my local to show how this looks like. So, Oracle. So in which location this report is? In main location. Okay, so okay, let me share my screen again so that you could see how the HTML report looks like. So would you be able to see my new screen, which is the HTML report?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah. So this is the report, how it looks like. So it has the, I mean, this version is the profile version, I mean PG profile version, and the server name, since we are capturing in the local server, it's local and start and end time. Okay, and it gives the version and database version and the server stats. Okay, so how many commits and how many rollbacks happened and what is the hit ratio? Okay, it has the database stats, and it has the multi-version concurrency control, right? So we have the multi-exact details as well. Okay, and we have the session details. Okay, and we have the okay. So here, if you see in the left-hand side, we have so many things, right? Statement statics by database, and if you want to capture the top sequence by execution time, you can go directly here, or we can see one by one what are. So we have the cluster stats like about the wall checkpoint information, wall generations, all the information we have, and it also gives the table space information. What is the size of table space? How much it has grown? Okay, and we have top SQL. I mean SQL queries by statistics. Okay, by time. If you click on this ID, it will give the SQL text. Okay, something like this. So since I don't have much queries, right, these are all like whatever we capture. So all these queries only, but it gives all the queries, whatever the top SQL queries it has. Okay. And this is just we have run executed select start from products or something. Okay, so we also have similarly top sequence by executions, top sequence by IO wait, top sequence by shared block fetch. So we have all kind of top sequels. Okay, we can go and see what are the sequels which is order by get. I mean, we can also see order by execution, something like this. Okay. So you can just go through this report because this will not come like if you just go through once, you will not understand. You have to go through like multiple types to understand better this how these reports look like. Okay. It has similarly like your AWS report. It gives the even if you see here, it also gives related to vacuuming also. If you come scroll down, it will also give what the top DML operations happened, what are the update deletes happened. Okay. Top growing tables, top growing indexes. If you see here vacuum related stats also it will give. So how, I mean, related to vacuum. So vacuum is very important, right? It also captured the vacuuming information. So for now we don't have much. See auto vacuum count for this particular tables and this particular schema. So these are all like our inbuilt schemas, right? So we don't have our own schemas. Profile is like our schema. So you don't have any application right now, tables that has modified 10% or something to do auto vacuum process. So you will get analyze operation as well. How many times analyze happen and how many inserts, update, deletes happen for the specific schema. All this stuff you can get. Okay. So this report basically you can schedule as a cron job, and even you can see uh, what are the pre-shared like this. All the parameters also you can capture, important parameters also, what parameters you have here. Okay, it captures all the parameters as well. Okay, so and what is the which parameter file or which configuration file it is using, whether auto.conf or main.conf, all these things it will capture. Okay, so this is the popular report. If you want like similarly kind of AWR kind of report, you can capture. Otherwise, like people will only you have to use some SQL queries like or PG stat statement, especially to see how all this data is capturing from the help of PG stat statement only. Okay, so it's not something like it is using some any other queries or something. So it is making use of PG stat statement extension, and it is capturing all the details. So actually, I will provide the lab manual step by step how you have to configure in your mission. Okay, you can just try it and go through the report how it looks like. Okay, and apart from this, actually, we will also give you the lab manual for the useful queries. Like if you want to check the logs, if you want to check the long running objects, and if you want to check the sessions, okay, how we can do. If you want to capture the top sequels, top 5 sequels, we can capture. Okay, and if you want to check how many sessions connected to this database, active sessions, inactive sessions, how to kill a session, all these queries, okay, useful queries we'll provide in the lab manual. Okay, so you just go through it. It will be useful for you when you work on the systems. Yeah, any doubts on this PG profile, how to configure? So only thing is we have created 3 extensions, okay, which is BB-Link, PG start statement, and PG profile. And we have created a user, and for this user, we have granted necessary permission. The previous issue was I have created a separate server, right? In that server, I have by using IP, it will connect. With the help of host name, it is not able to connect. That is the reason last time it is not able to connect to the server, and it has not captured. So I have configured a different database. So here by default it will pick the local server, and if you see the take snapshot, it will capture. And if you want to see the snapshots, you can use this function. Okay, so it's very simple straight away. Only the 3 extensions and necessary parameters, that's it. So you can actually schedule this command in the cron job. Every 1 hour it will keep on captured, and same report whatever we generated with the help of pSQL, right? So the same command you can also use in the cron job to capture, and you can configure your emails. Okay, it will every 1 hour you will get an email of this report. Okay, or if you don't want to run manually, you have some extension called pg_cron. It will be similar like your DBMS scheduler jobs. Okay, you can schedule with the help of pg_cron. It will automatically capture this report every 1 hour, and it will send an email. Okay, you can also make use of that pg_cron extension. and you can play with this profile. Any questions on this? How to generate this report?
No, Suresh.
Yeah, so that's it I have for today. Probably we can connect on Monday and Tuesday. So in 2 sessions we are going to cover migration part, okay, and some tips of extensions. What are the most popular extensions we need to use in real time, and how to create our own extension also. We'll give some tips, okay, on Monday and Tuesday classes. Okay, so by Tuesday and most probably by Wednesday we are going to complete this course. So please don't miss the next 3 sessions, because Oracle to Postgres migration is very important. It will be very helpful for you in future projects.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We provide the lab manual. You please go through it.
Yeah, sure.